Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Bree and today I'm here to talk to you about money. Ooh. I don't know why I did a spooky ghost noise. Maybe it's because money is scary. So before I go through like every single month and tell you how much money I made, I'm gonna quickly just like go into my origin story because I feel like it's kind of important. So August of last year, I was working at a part-time job 2 days a week and doing art the rest of the days of the week. And at that point, I decided to quit my part-time job and just do art full-time. Because last summer, even though I had some part-time jobs, art was slowly becoming like more and more what my income was from. And I was still working a part-time job a couple days a week, and it was just like really draining me doing both jobs. And I felt like I was finally at the point where I could quit my part-time job and just do art, and the like 2 extra days a week that I wouldn't be at my part-time job, I thought that I can make up that money by having those days just be for art. So that's what I did. I worked until the end of August, and September is technically my first month being a full-time artist. So I'm just gonna go through every month from September 2022 until June of 2023, last month. And I'm just gonna tell you how much money I made each month and what the sources of income were. Because each month my income varies a lot and the source of my income varies a ton. So as a newly full-time artist, I think that this information could be useful to someone, or at the very least could be interesting. So let's talk about it. So my first month as a full-time artist, in September of 2022, I made $1,568. 1,028 of those dollars were from selling at art markets, and 540 of that was from my website. I sold at 2 different events at my local climbing gym, and then I sold at a flea market. Besides that, my only other source of income was from my website, and that's where I made $540. So that equals $1,568. Not bad for my first month. I was pretty happy with that. All right, and then October came, and I did really well in October actually. In October, I made a total of $3,167. I was posting a lot on TikTok, and my videos were doing pretty well around that time, so I was getting a lot of sales, and I made $2,512 from my website. I was taking pre-orders for this rug design that was kind of popular in October. Also that month, my local climbing gym that I used to work for commissioned me to make a couple rugs as a reward for the climbing competition. So I made a lot of money that month from my shop, and that was really exciting. From Etsy, I made a total of $5. I think I sold 2 stickers, but you know, $5 is $5. So in October, I sold at 2 markets. At one, I made around 400, and then the other I made about 250. So I made 650 total at markets. All right, November 2022 was a bad month for me. I made a total of $423. On November 8th, it was my boyfriend and I's anniversary, and we had like all these plans, but I woke up feeling horrible. And it turns out later that day, I ended up getting my appendix removed. So I spent the night in the hospital, and I had like a couple weeks of recovery, and I just felt horrible. So most of November, I like didn't really work. I was like doing some stuff, but I like wasn't making any money. It was just like really hard for me to like make rugs and like use my abdomen because it was so sore, which also sucked because November is really normally a good month for sales because of Christmas. But since I had like nothing ready for the end of November, I didn't make that much money. I was really hoping to make like at least $2,000 in November, so that month was a flop for me for sure. But obviously like shit happens. And then December 2022 was also kind of a rough month, but I did okay. I made $1,517 total. I sold at 2 different markets and made almost exactly $1,000 from those. And then on my Squarespace website, I made $492. December was the month that I started my Patreon. So right away I had like 5 or 6 patrons, so I made $25 that month for my Patreon. So thank you, patrons. The last half of December, I actually went home to Minnesota for like 2 full weeks for Christmas. I only worked like 2 weeks out of December, but I still did pretty well, making $1,500. So I was pretty happy with that. So January was kind of a slow month, but I anticipated that because it was right after the holidays and most people don't really have money to spend on random shit after the holidays. So in January, I made a total of $790. $735 of that was from my website, $20 was from Etsy, and $35 was for my Patreon. Now, February 2023, this was the big month for me. This was my best month ever in my life with making money. I was completely shocked, okay? So one of my TikTok videos went viral and I was showing off a product that I made and people loved it, and I just like opened up orders on my shop for everyone, and looking back, it was maybe a little bit too much. I probably should have closed my shop earlier, but I made it happen. I got all the orders out in about the time that I needed to, so it worked out. But I had over 250 sales on my website and I made $5,858. So yeah, that was crazy for me. And the same month, I sold at this monthly flea market and I made $610. My Etsy shop was also doing okay. I think some people found me on Etsy instead of my website from TikTok. So I had $185 from Etsy. And lastly, I was at $40 for my Patreon. All right, and that brings us to March of 2023. In March, I made $642. Now, I took most of those orders in February at the end of February, so a lot of March, I was still like fulfilling those orders, so I had my shop closed. I think I had it open for like the first day of March, and then I realized I needed to close it and just like fulfill everything. So I made $82 on my website, $33 on Etsy, and then I made $487 from 2 different markets that I sold at. One of the markets I actually lost money from selling at, but for the other one I sold it, I did do okay. And overall I made $487. And then in Patreon, once again, $40. I forgot to film April, so I'm back a couple hours later to film this. In April, I made $359. Not very good. I was on vacation with my family for part of the month, and then I was just resting from February and March, so I was just taking it easy. On Squarespace, I made $283. On Etsy, I made $16, and on Patreon, I made $60. Now, because I had spent February and March just like viciously packing orders, I was feeling really burnt out. So for the month of May, I made like a really conscious effort to have my shop remain closed and to just worry about YouTube. Because I was feeling kind of burnt out from my shop and like packing orders. So I figured it was a good time to just like focus on a different area of my business. So for the most part, that is what I did for May and June. I just kind of like focused on my YouTube. I did still make some money during those months. In May 2023, I made $845 in my shop. I made $95 on Patreon. There was a big jump in my Patreon pledgers. And then May was also really big for me because May was the month that I got monetized on YouTube. So if you're still watching this video, thank you so much. You're part of the reason why I'm able to be monetized on YouTube. I think I got monetized on like May 27th or something. So I only made $18 from the YouTube ads, but still, I was psyched. In May, I made a total of $958. All right, and then lastly, my 10th month of being a full-time artist was June 2023, so just last month, and I made $525 in my shop. So in June of 2023, I made $745. I made $70 on Patreon, and I made $150 from YouTube ads. Not a lot of money for the month, but like I said, it was kind of an intentional decision to focus on my YouTube since I had done well in my shop earlier, and I was just kind of trying to like balance everything. All right, so now I'm gonna tell you all of my totals based on the 5 categories I've listed out, which are my website, Etsy, markets, Patreon, and YouTube. During these 10 months on my website, I made $12,295. On Etsy, I made $259. For markets, I made $3,775. On Patreon, I made $365. YouTube, $168. And that brings us to a grand total of $16,862. Now, obviously that's not a ton of money, you know, I'm not rich over here, that's for sure. But I am really proud with those numbers, considering that I built this all up myself and that it's only my first year and it hasn't even been a full year. I still have 2 more months, and actually in September, in a couple months, I'll be selling at my biggest event yet. It's gonna be huge, so that should be really exciting, and I should get a decent amount of profit from that as well. So for a lot of August and September, I'm just gonna be prepping for the event that I'm selling at, and that event is FanX in Salt Lake City. I am so excited. I'm gonna be selling there as one of the dealers. So I'm gonna be in the dealer alley, not the artist alley, but as far as I know, they're pretty close to each other. If you go there, you should see me. And I'm gonna make sure to vlog a lot of the prep stuff of me like getting ready for the event and me at the event, and I'll talk through all of it. You know, I think it's gonna be crazy, so I think I'm gonna have like a lot to talk about regarding that. But that is where I'm at with my first 10 months. So in July, I'm focused on doing some more shop updates. I am planning on releasing a new batch of rugs really soon. I've got actually like a bunch behind the camera right here that I need to work on. So look forward to that. And if you like this video, please give it a like. Yeah, thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I honestly don't really know how to talk about this kind of stuff. I started my YouTube to just kind of like document my work and my art process and stuff like that. Talking about businessy money stuff is not fun for me, really. But at the same time, I'm also really proud of what I've grown this little art business to be, so here we are. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep supporting me, you can check out my art shop. It's just Forcier.com. You'll see it in the description. Other than that, just please watch my YouTube videos. Honestly, that's just as helpful right now, so thank you so much. I will see you in the next video.